In terms of SBF, I feel like it's been SBF overload. He's on like a Twitter Spaces or some kind of interview several times a day. What could we potentially get from him tomorrow? And it'll be interesting because it'll be lawmakers asking the questions. Will we hear anything differently?
It is the question. And what will we hear that's different from the hours of testimony that he's really given already in media interviews? One thing from legal experts that I'm talking to, the bar is just higher. This is the first time we're going to hear from Sam Bankman-Fried under oath, so he can really say what he wants during Twitter Spaces and interviews. There is now the risk of perjury. He's talking to Congress members who have really wanted answers from him in a different way that a journalist might. He is donated to a lot of big names in Washington. He's spent time on Capitol Hill. He's testified in front of Congress in the capacity of what was at the time an expert witness and really the credible face of this industry. That image is now completely shattered. Company going through bankruptcy. He now is no longer the spokesperson or the CEO, as John Ray has said. And speaking of John Ray, we also hear from the current CEO. So it'll be an interesting juxtaposition between John Ray, the gentleman who was in charge of restructuring Enron and called this the worst bankruptcy and the messiest he's seen in his 40-year career, with Sam Bankman-Fried, who's got to answer to how we got here under oath.
Yeah, it's a very key point, Kate. He will be under oath, so it'll be interesting to see if those answers and his strategy differs. I want to ask you about this Binance headline this morning that the DOJ is looking, or regulators are looking at potential money laundering, sanctions violations. But those, Kate, are kind of the old crypto issues that we are so used to, that are kind of the standard. The issues that are in focus now is commingling funds and proof of reserves, which we still, by the way, don't have from CZ. But it really feels like he's kind of on the back foot these days. Where are we in terms of what we want to hear from CZ and Binance, and kind of worries about this exchange, which is much larger than FTX?
Yeah, and so now that FTX has gone under, Binance controls about 75% of global volume. So they are the one that regulators and investors are looking to really to have some credibility, to have a solid exchange out there that has proof of reserves. They put out a document earlier last week that was supposed to show reserves, and there's some questions right now from those in the industry on how you can actually value proof of reserves, what's legitimate, what can you trust. So trust is really one of the big themes here that people want to see from Binance. They've also got the issue, like you mentioned, of anti-money laundering that they're dealing with. They put out a statement saying essentially we've worked with law enforcement, we've responded to almost 50,000 cases here, and trying to make the case, which was very different from what FTX said, that we've hired almost 6,000 people in law enforcement and trying to comply with some of these global regulations. And they've really tried to tout the team that they've built and the hiring they've done, whereas FTX at the time, really talked about this lean team that they had, which is now looking like part of the issue. But Binance is the one to watch, and the reserves are a huge question here. People want to see if you are an exchange that you've got the money one-to-one to back it up, and there's been record outflows, like you mentioned in the beginning there. Yeah. Any of these exchanges, if you're somebody who's not an active trader, you've seen it at a record level at this point, that people are looking to take their cryptocurrency, store it offline, and have it in a place where they feel like they've got control over it, regardless of what happens to one of these exchanges.
Right, but Kate, even proof of reserves isn't really a perfectly transparent metric either, right? Because it just is a snapshot at one point in time, and it doesn't even tell you if those reserves are levered, which is really the problem that FTX got into. Proof of reserves might have helped, but it doesn't tell the whole story. Yeah, there's worries about cherry picking, about showing a certain snapshot, like you said, of their balance sheet. And it's been an issue. I think it all comes down to trust, which has been eroded with what happened to FTX. But even proof of reserves, the idea that you wouldn't have a Big Four auditor looking at this, it seems like there needs to be more done with whether it's stablecoins or Binance or any of these centralized exchanges to make sure that if you say you're taking customer assets, you're holding those one-to-one, you're not holding those in liquid assets. And I think you're spot on there that even if you show something that is technically a proof of reserve, there are always going forward going to be questions appropriately on where those are and can you see them in real time. Yeah. And no real financial audit. Kate Rooney, thanks.